Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated. Nicotine. House of Addictions. Oh my God.
Are you ready to start, Mr. Arthur?
Ready as I'll
This is
ever be.
episode 120. Thank you. Mrs. Sarah Tollemache.
Tollemache.
To me, there's an N in there somewhere, and there isn't, and it's Tollemache, like Don Quixote.
Yeah, I just let people go wild with it. Yeah.
It is hard to pronounce. You got to give me that.
What's the origin of that name?
It's Scottish, but I think it's when the Normans raided Scotland, so it has a French influence.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're Scottish?
Yeah.
One side or fully Scottish?
Actually, fully, because my mom's maiden name is Gourlay, and she's from the same region.
Huh. What is that? Glasgow or?
God, I'm not even sure, to be honest.
Because I have Scottish roots.
Okay.
Yeah, Arthur. That's
yeah.
My last name comes from William Arthur from Glasgow.
Glasgow as fuck.
Yeah. Well, we have family that's from Ipswich.
He isn't a thug, by the way.
Yeah.
My family. I could just see not a thug, but
Love that name, Ipswich.
Yeah. Well,
where's Ipswich?
England, and like kind of East Anglia, Cambridge area.
Yeah. Do you visit there?
No, I went to Wales last year, and then I lived in Cambridge for a brief moment, but it's not like I'm like going there to get to my roots.
No.
But I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often have you? There's good like comedy scene in like Edinburgh. There's like an Edinburgh comedy festival.
Yeah,
right?
that one's huge.
Yeah.
Never done it. It always seems like a lot of work that I'm like, never mind.
I feel you.
Well, it's not only
I'm out.
Yeah.
It requires work. I'm out.
Well, it's like you have to like have an hour, and then not only that, you have to be a great business person, or it's just you're losing money.
Wait, I got to leave the house for this?
Being an artist is so hard, isn't
brutal.
it? It's so brutal. If people knew.
Yeah.
That's why you should get into cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. But now you're apparently evil for that because of all like the warehouses that they have to create and energy sources to create the Bitcoin from going.
There's always some party pooper out there.
It's right here.
Oh, no.
Did you know about this?
I don't want to hear about it. I finally found financial freedom.
Hey, do whatever makes you happy.
So it's evil, huh? Because of the gas fees, or because of the gas, or
the energy that goes into
Into what?
The hard drives to keep it going.
Oh, the server farm.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. So it's becoming politically incorrect to be into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, but that goes for the entire internet.
Man.
But who knows?
It's not just crypto. They need servers, Amazon, everybody. Like,
everything. Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I have 3 siblings.
Oh, really?
2 brothers and 1 sister.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I have a sister.
Oh, nice.
And a half brother I never met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met all my family members.
That you know of.
That I know of,
I haven't met all of mine.
Oh.
But
That's
I'm
exciting.
from Ohio, so
yeah.
it makes sense.
Does it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a line. What are your siblings doing? Like what is the pecking order?
I have an older brother, and I'm pretty sure he's a day trader.
So he's into cryptocurrency.
He's into cryptocurrencies. He knows all the stuff.
Yeah, you better tell him.
GameStops and stonks and
yeah.
And then I'm the second oldest, and then I have a sister that's 16 months younger than I am, and she's a data analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my brother, youngest, and I don't know exactly what he does. He's in advertising, so right now he's working for travel blogs. Yeah,
that's cool. Who's the black sheep?
I would have to say probably myself.
I think you
are. I was
are.
gonna say ding 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 ding. ding.
I mean,
you just described 3
top
day
professions.
Trader, this, that.
Yeah. What did your parents do?
My mom was a stay-at-home mom for years, and then when she was ready, she wanted to go back to school. So then she became she works IT for a funeral home company, and then my dad was.
There's got to be a bit in that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I don't. That's when you're a kid, you're like usually a lot of times I'm like I didn't know what my parents. Like my dad was in mergers and acquisitions, and I still couldn't really tell you what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the middleman for when deals between two companies.
Yeah. It sounds like a pimp to me, mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
Because people merge and then he acquires.
Yes, he works both. He's like a manager or an agent, meaning like he knows all these companies. Like somebody's like, I would like to get a company that specializes in machine parts, like casters that are that have a revenue of $5 million. And he'd be like, okay, he has a database and he knows relationships. So he makes those things happen and gets a percentage of the deal.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. It's very similar to comedy. He and I, where you're just like waiting for a deal to happen, then like big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to wait for fate to come in and sort of give you a boost.
Yeah. Like you're not, you have to make the money happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Yes.
How did you get into comedy?
Well, I think early on, when my parents moved to Texas or the States, HBO was just coming up, and they were from South Africa and censorship, and they didn't really care about that stuff, and or they were unaware of the kind of content that I was watching, and HBO specials were huge, and then you could rent specials. So my dad we just liked comedy, and I just thought it was a cool thing. And then I think I don't know, started trying to write jokes.
So your dad responded to comedy and you saw that, and maybe that was the seed.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about that with my therapist. I think that our value or monetary is if you could get your parents to laugh, that was a good sign. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Leonard Cohen line, we're leaning out for love. We'll lean that way forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true, though.
It is true, right?
Yeah. I feel like every decision I make is like, will my mom like this?
Right.
And most times, no. And I don't know why I keep failing her.
Yeah, I took that from I was listening to the episode you did with your awesome husband, Joe List. And you were talking about it's harder for you to get your mom's approval than your dad.
Yeah, my mom has this thing of just if she wants to compliment you, she'll do it through other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to relay what she says about them to them, positive, and then vice versa.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she's there, but she's not willing, like she doesn't give it out forthright, I guess.
I guess that's good though. That kind of creates the engine for you to go out there and go through all the things you have to do to make it in this world.
Yeah, I guess it's a fuel, but it's also like a miserable existence to have like every decision based on like, is she gonna like it?
Right.
Or will she approve? And that's not a way that I think she carries herself, but I think that's what I've interpreted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the process of individuation where you have to finally let all that go.
Yes.
But it's difficult.
Are you like that, Joe?
Am I like that?
With your parents' approval. It's cute. I never thought about it.
I feel like I individuated over the last few years, finally. At the ripe age of 46, like I finally actually individuated. And it was through hardship and not a nice thing on the surface. But at this point now with my parents, I have a very nice connection with them that's based on, at least in my world, mutual respect and equality. And I'm individuated to the level where if that doesn't line up with their world, that's their problem.
Nice. Yeah.
Like,
as long as you're like murdering or doing awful things.
Right.
Yeah. You're like, that's their issue, not mine.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other kind of family than a dysfunctional family.
No, I know. Everyone I talk to is always like, oh, my family is dysfunctional. I was like, there's levels of it. But I definitely feel like everybody's family has like problems.
Issues.
I haven't met anybody that doesn't have that.
No, but have you ever met someone that you're like, when you hang out with them, you're like, your parents really showed you the right amount of love. Yeah.
Yeah, there is some well-adjusted.
Yes.
Very
few.
Yeah, there's few of them, but yeah. And I always wonder, like, if below the surface, if they're actually more fucked up than everybody else, but probably not.
I mean, I'm only going, this is what I'm getting of my feeling when I'm hanging out with them in a long-term period, but I'm not digging deep, so I'm sure there's some level.
Right. Yeah. What do they think about what you do now?
I have no idea. I actually think my mom hates stand-up. I think she thinks a lot of it is misogynist. And like I remember one time I had a situation that, like, you know, I would put it at best as like an office sexual harassment. It wasn't like an abuse situation. And she was just like, I don't know why you do comedy. I just find it so misogynist and like... Which I felt was kind of unfair. I was like, well, isn't this just like in any business?
Right.
There's always some kind of turmoil that someone's dealing with. I'm like, this. I mean, it's an annoying
accentuated
thing.
in comedy. I feel the male comics drive it, but it is comedy. Drive it to a place where someone who doesn't have a sense of humor will see it as all misogynistic.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, I don't know, throwing out that term sometimes for anything, like... Because she was talking about a comic that we saw that I think is clean, and I wouldn't necessarily consider him misogynist, but she was like, he just talked about his wife the whole time. And I'm like, well, isn't that what life is? Like, I talk about my husband a lot. I don't know, is that what is it called? Misandry or whatever? Misandry?
Don't look at
the
us.
opposite of misogynist.
I'll look it up.
That I was like, isn't that just talking about life experiences? And I don't throw him under the bus. He definitely knows what stuff I'm talking about before I do it.
Right.
So I thought that was just like an unfair term to throw at somebody.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like
misandry.
Sounds like bad parenting.
Yeah.
Just to put a too harsh a point on it, I guess, but
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't want to categorize. I don't think my mom's like...
I don't want to throw your mom under the bus. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just like trying to defend her because it's hard because she's not here to talk about her
That's
stuff.
Stockholm syndrome.
I know. True, yeah.
I mean, it just, yeah. It's like...
Isn't comedy like that sometimes? Like, don't you... I find that there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but like I can't because it's not fair for that person because they haven't stated their side.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like personal stuff in their life.
Right.
Like I definitely wouldn't talk about my siblings' personal life on stage.
But on a podcast.
Not even like in a disguised kind of way, like as not the sibling, but still tell the story that you found humor in.
I guess I could, but they pay attention to my act enough that they're not dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, once you do cross those lines, then it's like, I feel like sometimes crossing those lines does lead to individuation because there will be a falling out, but eventually everyone will come back around and then there'll be more space within the relationship to be more real, I think.
True. I think I know what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's my right to speak up of how I feel about a relationship.
Right.
I guess in a way it's hard because if I've never addressed it with that person and then I bring it up on stage, then they're like, well, where is this coming from?
Well, that's a good way to open up the conversation.
That's true. Is it the right way? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's the right way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I just think that's like the sort of the place of art and comedy and stuff.
Yeah, just in general. I mean, songwriters do it all the time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, parallel.
I've done it a lot. I've done it a lot, and I feel like my family has been pretty cool about it.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
You know?
An album called The Family?
There was one album they asked me not, or like they actively asked me to change certain things, like, and then I didn't, and it did cause a falling out.
Sometimes you're just like, well, if they did the bad thing and it's right, then that's their problem, don't you think? You know, I remember there was a relationship that I had years ago that I brought in to my act, and it was like, I think they had problems that I did it, but then I was like, hey, but if you weren't doing those things, then I wouldn't be talking about it on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did it go from there?
Well, we broke up
Haven't spoken
horrifically.
since.
No, we've fallen out for sure.
Right.
And I don't think his family appreciated it either.
Huh.
And it's not like I even managed to get it on TV.
Right.
I just remember a sister one time was like, wow, you sure have a lot of stuff about my brother. And I was like, well, if he didn't do so much fucked up shit. What
was the crux of it?
Well, I think neglect. I remember the whole 6 years that we went out, he never really got me a present. And I remember one time it was Christmas shopping, and he was like, why don't you just pick out something here and I'll pay for it at the cash register? Which to me, I was like, well, why don't I just get a receipt out of my wallet and you can just give me cash for it? Like, that just doesn't seem like a thoughtful idea. And like,
I'm in trouble.
That's the bare minimum.
Yeah, that's
that's
uninspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put it as in a bid, and I felt like that was fair game. And then I think
that's okay, especially if you're making humor out of it.
Yeah, but then I talked about he had what I would consider porn addiction, which really irritated me. And I remember, I think that's the area that his sister was like,
yeah, that's more sensitive.
Unless he's open
putting on someone's porn addiction on blast.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody really needs to be ready for that to be exposed. I feel like.
Yes, but it was a great joke.
I
really liked it. Well, it was just like finding his porn and just like being annoyed with it, but trying to make the best out of it. And then I would take a photo that I didn't like, and then I just take it to my hairdresser and act completely oblivious that there's a horrible blowjob scene going on. But I'd be like, I really like her haircut in this.
That's a good premise.
Yeah, can you make me look like her?
That's funny.
So it's like not directed to
a porn hair salon where you have all the porn stars on the wall.
That's a good joke.
So I was like, sometimes it's really hard. You're like, God, the joke is so, like, I really like it and I'm happy with it. It's a really good one. That I'm willing to step a boundary, I think.
I don't know.
And that was safe to me but, just like look on social media. If you even use a word and you're not even using the word in the way that's derogatory, but using it as a definition, people like fucking freak out. So it's all like nuance. Mean? I don't know. Just like, I'm trying to think of an example because I don't even want, you don't want to say anything. Well, let's just say like, what is that? That basketball player got in trouble for saying a Jewish slur. What is his name? Myers Leonard on the Miami Heat.
Never heard this. Did you hear this?
As a Jew, I'm not aware.
I couldn't.
No. You should be aware.
I don't. That goes over my head.
You're a Jew. Defend your people.
Myers Leonard. Oh, look good.
But like, I didn't know what the word was, and nobody would put it in context in writing. And I think because they're worried about getting canceled, even in the context of writing.
I can't repeat it.
You can't repeat it, and I just feel like
that's crazy.
Even when you're not being like vicious but you're talking about the situation, people still don't like that anyway. So, I don't know.
What I like about the whole porn addiction joke is, to me, when somebody's making comedy of something like that, it's also, I think, like, to me, if I was the boyfriend, I would read it as a form of acceptance and even some kind of forgiveness coming from you, in that you've transferred it or sort of alchemized it into something great.
Yeah. Well,
so
I don't think he ever took it that way.
And I would also be aware that I have a porn addiction that I need to work on. And that we're all flawed and we've all been there, We've all had porn addictions,
Yeah.
She's right, though, because when they quote what this guy said, they're not saying it.
Nobody says it.
There's like, it says. That's crazy. That's that's too
and
much.
And he said, F blank, 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 G. So fucking cowards. Don't F blank, 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 G. Don't fucking, I assume, snipe me at you.
Yeah, he's playing a video game.
And then it's F blank, 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 G. And now is the slur. It says K.
Okay.
And there's 1, 2, 3 lines. And then another word, B, and 4 lines. So I don't know what. Is this like a hangman? Like, I don't know what it is. What did he say?
That's funny.
Well, don't you? Because you have like
What did he say?
curiosity.
The context.
Well, nobody knows.
The context
Do you know?
is not clear.
I'm assuming. I only
you can,
know
oh,
one.
well, you can't say
I won't
it.
say it.
I'll say it because I'm Jewish. You fucking kid. I don't know.
think
What
it's the
starts
K.
with a K?
K-I-K-E.
Kike?
Yeah. It's so
I didn't-
silly that it's
I
spelling
didn't-
it.
I didn't
said it.
say that.
I said it. Is that something that describes
Ehud,
Jews?
who's a Jew,
I thought
said
that was
it.
a Jewish
I thought that
racial
was like an
slur.
Italian racial thing.
No.
No.
Okay, so let's say it's that
You're
word.
a Jew and you don't even know
Oh wait,
that?
so is the letter with the B then bass? No, B.
Think about how many times you could have been offended in this world.
what
and you
starts with
weren't.
a B and has 4 letters after that. That's what the
Bitch.
last bitch. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
I wouldn't be a fan. I don't know. I guess
I'm
I'm
what
not
I've learned is
sensitive.
I'm better at hangman than you.
Right. That
Yeah.
was terrible.
racial.
I'm like way
hangman.
better. I'm like, we should be playing more hangman for money, I think. Like,
I would never
you know,
partake.
That's easy
Know
money.
your
Yeah.
limitations.
Yeah.
But it's true. I guess, yeah.
But don't like just out of curiosity. You're like, God, I would like to know because there's something in your mind. You're like, well, what if I'm saying it and I have no idea I'm saying a racial
Right.
slur?
Mm.
Just out of like knowledge, I think. But I'm just saying that like even mentioning something lightly can still like be a
cancelable
a harsh
offense.
thing, even in personal relationships in public forum. I think.
Yeah, the thing is with canceling everything is like after a certain point, you cancel culture will cancel itself. If everyone gets canceled, it will
Yeah.
no longer hold any cancel weight.
Yeah,
It's
like,
only good if you're like alone and you've been ostracized and but now if there's going to be like thousands of people that are also alone and ostracized, they'll go and make their own new group
yeah, and that happens.
and then they won't be ostracized anymore.
Yeah, it's herd immunity.
Herd immunity for
Yeah.
cancel culture.
Yeah.
I think we're
Eventually,
fast approaching
yeah,
it.
when they get to 70%.
Well, I was
Right.
saying that like a lot of it, it's weird. All you have to do is just close your computer and it's not even happening to you.
That's true. I think about that.
and you can just
sometimes.
walk away and I'm pretty sure it'll die down. Is this, I mean, talking about like, I'm not talking about like the Chris D'Elia one is a weird offense because
Yeah.
it's like, what was it, eliciting? Is that the word?
a minor.
Soliciting.
Soliciting, yeah. Images from a minor, where you're like, well, that's a little bit different. That's actually an illegal offense. But I
Yeah.
feel like, freedom of speech kind of stuff. Or like
Yeah.
if you said something that's unfavorable or an unpopular opinion, I feel like you could just close your computer and just walk away for 4 days. And I think we'll move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think about that. Like, if that ever happened to me, I think I would just go into my like super monk mode and just become a meditator and just go all spiritual.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could get canceled so I could have a peaceful life.
Right. Just give up this showbiz
Yeah,
lark.
unplug.
Yeah, just like create for yourself and
Yeah.
like make your own thing. I mean, I say that and it also sounds awful to be canceled. But I was talking about this, like I remember Eliza Schlesinger said something that really pissed off a lot of female comics a few years, and she was on vacation when it happened. And I was like, God, this sucks that she's allowed to have her opinion, but she has no idea everyone's just like ripping her apart online. And her vacation got ruined.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because she checked it out.
Because if she just waited like a few more days, she
But
could have
that's
had a
also
really
part
nice
of the
time.
addiction on her end that she
Yeah,
has to
yeah,
post
yeah.
on
A
vacation.
Google alert probably
like,
happened.
Unplug. Take
Yeah.
yourself out of it every now and then. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Do you have Google alerts for your name?
No.
I do not.
I know.
No.
That's a lot of
Not
people
that
do.
anyone's
I'm not
talking
in a
about
yeah.
me, but still, I
I'm
just
not in
don't.
a position.
Better
for
not to
that.
know.
Every
to be
now and then
honest.
I'll see if if I come up on a Reddit chat board or something.
I don't know how to access Reddit.
Honestly, like
It's
I
so
don't know
difficult to
either.
me.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a weird world. The
I was
Reddit
like, where do
thing.
you search on Reddit?
Yeah.
It's always like, do you want to go in the app or do you want to just keep staying on Safari, bro? What's up?
Safari.
I usually just keep
we
on
use Safari,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Oops, did I just call myself out?
Yeah.
Is
Windows
Safari
Explorer.
racist? Oh no. So when did you decide, like, did you ever go to college or when did you start performing as a comedian?
Sorry. I went to a lot of colleges. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then also I just had like a drug and alcohol problem. So it was hard for me as soon as the first project came onto the syllabus and we're nearing it, I would just drop the class. So I went to Kingwood Community College. I went to HCC, Houston Community College. I took UCLA extension classes. And then finally I managed to get my shit together and just complete a 2-year degree at the Art Institute of Houston in multimedia and web design. And then now I'm like taking courses again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A
Especially
BA?
during pandemic. Yeah, I'm going to try to get a bachelor's.
In what?
You know, as stupid as it sounds, but I'm like, I'm on my phone all the time. I always study like what's algorithms and like how to get your shit pushed up. That I was like, I might as well just be a social media manager, and you can do that anywhere, and you can work for yourself.
That's cool.
We'd
And
hire you for this podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we need
Yeah.
you. And you could blow up
Let
your
us know
own
when you have your
social
degree.
media stuff. So
Yeah.
it works in tandem with what you're.
Yeah, and I felt like it would complement my other degree because I know how to like edit video and audio and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
Do you post on it?
I do.
What kind of stuff?
I've been I started the At Home Film Festival in the beginning of the pandemic just as a goal to create sketches or films once a month. So I usually put those videos up, and then I put my album up, and then now I taped my my album last year, but there was a decent camera there and I have it edited right now, and so I'm going to put my own special up on YouTube in like a few weeks.
That's cool. That's the sort of the new Netflix, I feel like, or that's what people are doing now and blowing up.
Well, I'm like, why wait around for somebody to say you get to do this when you
Right.
could just create your own body? Because I'm just tired of waiting.
Right.
Your husband put his on YouTube, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was through Comedy Central
Oh,
Digital,
okay.
but it definitely set up the stage for him to get more subscribers to his own personal. And I think going forward, most
And
of us are
Mark
going to go that
Normand-
way.
Mark Norman put his on YouTube, and Jared Freed I saw just put his up on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, I just feel like the spots for like specials online, it does feel like there's a lot of streaming services, but there's still not a lot of spots to give to everybody. So why wait?
No reason at all.
Have a body of work. And then I feel like if you keep doing it, like maybe eventually they'll give you something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to engage in YouTube more.
Yeah.
You know, start making vlogs or whatever. I like Casey Neistat.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, man,
I'm so out of it.
He's
for
such a
like,
great. He's like a YouTube legend. He's
Doing
like
it for years.
He's been doing it for years. His vlogs are so high quality. You should check them out.
Yeah. Do you guys put this on YouTube?
It's addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Available on YouTube
Yeah,
and
great
in
timing.
audio format on all podcast
Like and
platforms.
subscribe. Like and
Yeah.
subscribe.
You glossed right over college and drug and
Put the
alcohol
notic-
addiction. By
We're
the way.
we're going back there.
Okay, I was like, what did she just
We're
say?
going to the strip club. We're going to fucking Shamrock Shakes made out of cream cheese
Oh, yeah.
and SAT scores. I know you did terrible on it.
Off.
I did the same. I had the same score as you.
Did you?
I listened to your thing today. You said you got like a 980.
Yeah, twice.
I didn't break 1,000 either.
No, and I wasn't. I was in honors
Did you study?
classes too.
Oh hell no! I showed up
Oh,
wasted. Like it was like a Saturday thing. And I was
Early
like,
in the morning.
stoned.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not give it a good effort.
No. Also, I don't know. I just don't. Because you'd have to read like 3 pages about ragtime jazz.
It's just like,
What?
I can't even
The
remember
reading
that
and
nightmare.
comprehension. Yeah. Like, you're like, this is so boring. Like, give me a tabloid
Yeah.
and I will remember every information I need to know.
I was in AP classes too. I had a weird thing with English. I was like always in the sort of remedial classes, and then at one point, like in 8th grade, they took me out in the hall and they said, "Hey, we're moving you to a different class." And then all of a sudden I was in an AP class. I guess
Yeah.
I wrote a paper they liked, and then
What's AP?
means advanced placement.
You can get out of college courses.
Yeah, so it's like the
Yeah.
highest. So I went from the lowest to the highest, and so like in high school, that's like a caste system. Like, so when you're in the lowest, you're kind of like one of the morons, and all of a sudden I'm like sitting around all the smart people, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then like the AP English class teacher, who was like teacher of the year, he had like, you know, they would make movies about like that kind of teachers.
They speak in Old English for fun.
Well, Captain, my captain. Yeah.
A circle desk situation. And he told me, "You'll never be college material."
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. He totally discouraged me.
I think school can be really bad for a lot of students.
Yeah.
I also think 980, like taking an SAT class and then, or like test and getting that low of a score, I basically just found out I was borderline Down syndrome. That's what it felt like. And
I think that's what I am.
Yeah, and then after that, you're like, well, what's the point of even trying if I'm just that like a dumb idiot?
I hate tests.
Yeah,
don't believe in them.
They really limit you in what you feel like you can do in your self-confidence.
I have a 10-year-old who now takes tests, and because I'm so against tests, and when I was in school I hated them, I never studied. I got 30, 40, never cared, didn't give a fuck. And I always tell her, "Carmen, go in there, do your best. If you get 5 out of 10, I don't care. It's great. Anything 4 out of 10 is great." So the other day
Father
she got
of the year over
the
here.
other day. No, she got
just,
8 out of 10, and you know her mother was a little upset. I was like,
at 8 out of 10,
that's
she's
awesome,
upset.
You
Carmen. It's like.
just want them to show up, have a good time,
but
and be
you can't
likable.
put so much weight on it, and it starts early on where they pressure them. And I was like, that just shows some kid can remember better than others. It doesn't mean.
It doesn't mean those kids that do really well on tests have like great work ethics.
Right.
They end up being like drug addicts or like have mental problems later on in life. Like I feel like all you need as an adult is just like a pleasant attitude, and that you show up and you don't complain all the time.
Yeah.
And you'll get like promoted.
That's true in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So when did you move to New York, or how did that whole journey happen?
So as soon as I started the Art Institute of Houston, that's when I discovered like, I could start figuring out how to do stand up, and I really, really liked it, and I felt like I was getting rewarded early. Like nothing ever has happened like that before. You
excelled at it.
Yeah. And I felt like I found my people, like similar like-minded people, alcoholics.
Mm-hmm. Like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. And so I had a really good time. And so I finished my degree. And then as soon as I was done, I also met a comic who was in LA, and then we dated for a long time, and then I moved out to LA, and then we broke up, and then I came back to Houston.
Famous comic?
Oh, well, he was well known, Henry Phillips. We were still friends to this day.
Shout out Henry.
Yeah,
shout out Henry Phillips.
A very talented comedian and filmmaker. He has like Henry's Kitchen online on YouTube if you ever. It's really funny.
Okay.
So then I moved back, and then I was in Houston for probably about 8 years, maybe 6 to 8. And I was in another long-term relationship. A lot of my stuff is just based on relationships for a while.
Right.
And then we were engaged. This was like the porn guy.
You
somewhat.
Engaged.
It was but no ring, and late at night after being drunk. And then I was like, and I thought that's what I wanted. And then I got panicky, and I was like, well, before we get engaged, can I at least try the New York thing, comedy? Because I felt like if I got married, I would just be in Houston and just become like an alcoholic the whole time. And then I moved to New York, and then shortly after, our relationship just like fell apart.
Because he didn't move with you.
He didn't move with me, and nor did I think he would. And then I thought that maybe comedy would happen a lot faster for me in New York, but it didn't. But I still felt like I really was liking my experience here, and so I broke it off, and then I stayed in New York, and that was 2008. Yeah.
So you've been here since then?
Since then, yeah.
That's cool. And where did you start practicing comedy?
I started in Houston, so I was doing that.
No, I mean in New York, though.
Oh, in New York.
Like
I think
what clubs?
I think every person, especially around that era, like you would just Google and it would be Bad Slava, and I think the first place was the Creek in the Cave.
Oh, Long Island City.
Yeah, because it was also near Astoria. Yeah. So I would just go there, and then they had mics every night, twice, like 5, and then I think again at 11 o'clock at night.
Who were your heroes, or who were you emulating, or what were your influences?
I don't know. I think like at the time before then, it was like I really adored Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
And I loved Maria Bamford. But then I also, I started meeting a lot of comics here in the city, and I really like Joe List.
Yeah.
And Nate Bargatze.
That guy again.
And, Dave Attell. But I knew he would always come through Houston a lot, and was
Dave.
friends with a lot of the Houston comics as well, and always very nice to be around. But a lot of the Cellar comics.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember going to the Cellar, and that was when I realized nobody's drinking at the Cellar like they would at the Houston Laugh Stop. And
Right.
I kind of was starting to realize like, oh, in order to get really be good here, you don't fuck around.
Right.
Yeah. Like, because in Houston, you would just do the mic once a week, maybe another one somewhere nearby. And then if you got on the monthly showcase show, we had it Brassy Broads, which was the all-female showcase. And then the guys was Black and Blue. And then if you did well there, then maybe once every few months you got to MC or feature for the headliner that came through. So you weren't going up a lot.
Right.
But I just assumed that's what you did.
Yeah.
So when I came here, I just realized, oh, you not only go up once a night, you go up several times a night, and you go up as much as you can. And so that changed a whole bunch of stuff.
And what did it change for you?
Oh, I realized like I probably should quit drinking, and I had a drinking problem because I kept, I would be hungover and then cancel my only spot for the week.
Right.
Stuff like that. And I knew my drinking was a problem before I moved, because when I moved up here, I remember being like looking at Craigslist and realizing I'm going to live with roommates that don't know me. And I was like, how am I going to hide
My alcoholism.
You
Yeah.
find other alcoholic roommates to
Yeah.
join with.
Yeah,
that
and I
are
did.
worse than you.
Yes.
And then
Which I did find when I moved here. But that I just remember those were my thoughts that I would have, that I knew that I had a problem.
Yeah. Do you have that addiction in your family? Does it, like, it's usually an allergy that I guess is hereditary.
Yeah, my grandfather had it, and he eventually committed suicide because of it later on
I'm
in life,
sorry.
which was like depression.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of our addiction, like I got the drinking addiction, but I think other people, not just in my immediate family, have it in other ways, like
Right.
food or shopping or, I don't know, working out, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking at a video about resetting my dopamine because it's like there's so many dopamine options now, especially just even like zoning out on YouTube all the time. Even when you're watching self-help YouTube things, and you just sit there and watch self-help YouTube things, and you can really convince yourself that you're doing something, and like then there goes the day and you didn't do anything.
Oh, that's my problem now, and with
That's my
like TikTok,
problem.
where you're like, I didn't do shit today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do a dopamine reset.
Yeah, I do. I allow myself to have like 1 hour on TikTok a day, and then I don't look at it before I go to bed.
Right. Are you
Yeah.
posting on it as well?
I try to,
Yeah.
but having that feeling of having to constantly create content is not my jam.
I know it's
It's so
it sucks.
tiring. I read Kim Gordon's autobiography
Mhm.
from Sonic Youth. And
I know who she is.
yeah, she had a statement in there that I really related to. She's like, the thing they never tell you about an artist's life is that you're always working.
Yeah. It's the hardest working thing you can possibly do. I
You're
think.
always creating. If you're
Yeah.
not putting something up, you're also thinking about it nonstop. Like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And it's tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today I did like the Akron station. I'm from Ohio, and they're doing like one artist of the day every day, and it was me today. And so I just got to do like a repost. And I was like, thank God. That's my post done. And it's just done for me.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. Like, I was so
Mazel
happy.
tov, the artist
Thank
of
you.
the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That's fine because I got the anthology of Nora Ephron, and she uses the same themes over and over again.
Like what?
Food, relationship. She had similar jokes and observations in one story, or like a newspaper article, and then I would later see it in When Harry Met Sally. That, and then just think of like people like Jim Gaffigan, like.
Yeah.
They have
Food.
this, food, religion.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
funny.
not dogging. I'm just saying that a lot of artists
I rediscovered him during the
Yeah.
pandemic. I never
Yeah.
thought he was great.
Oh, he's
And during the
awesome.
No, he's a
pandemic, he
real good
posted
one.
a video a day.
Yeah.
And I started watching. I was like, man, he is funny.
Yeah.
I really have a new appreciation for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
think-
like comfort food.
I think what you're saying is just don't be so hard on yourself.
Yes,
Allow yourself to go ahead and repeat, and people appreciate that anyway, I think.
Yeah. The other one too is like, I think about even let's just take the greatest filmmakers. You look at their IMDb, and out of 40 films, I think they have 4 greats.
Right.
That you're like, you just have to create and not be so hard on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, like in baseball, if you get a base hit, like 3 out of every 10 times you're at bat, you're like considered an all-time great.
Yeah.
So if you put that same sort of metric on art and expression, it's easier.
Yeah, you always feel like anytime you see people, you're like, oh, it looks like they're killing it all the time, but like, not really.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of failure in all this.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, it's mostly failure.
it is. Yeah,
lot of times
don't
it's a
be afraid to
paycheck.
fail.
Yes.
So did you start going to meetings in New York or something like that, or are we not allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, I did 12-step, and I
Okay.
still do 12-step, and
Yeah.
I think for me, it's one of the few things that has worked for me, and I highly encourage it if anyone's dealing with it. But I think there's other ways too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to Perry Street?
Yeah.
I love Perry Street. It's my favorite.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if all the places to get sober, you do it in New York, they have a meeting almost 24/7.
Well, they used to.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. But there's Zooms.
Do you do the Zoom ones?
I do Zooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should probably do
You
that.
haven't been doing anything in the
Nothing-
last year
nothing
or so?
like that.
Wow.
Well, I know in the beginning I was like, oh, I don't know. If I can't even make a Zoom meeting,
Right.
then I'm not really working my program.
So you got sober. What year did you get sober?
I got sober in 2009. So I spent a whole year doing New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's great about that sobriety thing is like once you get on it, and it's like that like kind of does reset the whole thing towards like, hey, if I was stayed sober today, it was a successful day.
Yeah, you can keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you need to do.
That is. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get into becoming a stripper?
Well, that was like drug and alcohol
Induced.
Well, because that was like a job. What I was told, first of all, Houston's one of, I don't know if it still is, but it has like one of the
lot of
highest
strip
strip
clubs.
clubs per capita.
That and Flint.
And Portland.
What's the city in Florida? Damn it.
Oh, like Tampa.
West Palm Beach or
Oh,
Tampa, one of those.
Yeah. And so I thought what you're told or what you hear from people that you know that do it is that it's so easy and you're going to be making so much money. And I was like, I think I could do that. And also I was just like on Rehybinals or roofies and like just getting fucked up. So I really thought like, oh, great. I could do that for one night and make $800 for that week. And then I don't know what else I thought I was doing. It wasn't like I had this busy schedule back then, but it's not. You have to be like a really amazing salesperson
Right.
for yourself. It's charm. You're not making money on the stage. You're making it by doing lap dances because it's $20 per song.
Right.
So, and you want to create like a clientele. And I just wasn't.
What was your stage name?
I think it was Chloe. Yeah. I only I think it was like at 2 clubs and like,
Welcome Chloe to
Yeah.
the stage. Welcome Chloe to the
Why
Panther
Chloe?
stage.
Did they make you pick one?
No, I think you end up like just choosing what you were going to name your baby or something, or,
Your
or
unborn child.
Your unborn child. I don't know. I don't know why we went with that. And then it just wasn't. It was just like depressing. And I don't really think it's that great of an industry. It's not empowering. And also for the girls that do make money, it's really hard for them to get out, and then you cap out at a certain age and you have no resume.
Right. And you're addicted to a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You were talking about finding coke on the floors
All
and
the
stuff.
time.
Really?
Yeah. It's so prevalent in all of those places.
Yeah. It fuels that kind of behavior.
Yeah. It helps numb the shit that you're doing. And I mean, it's not great. Like, you have guys that treat you like shit. There are a few that were really nice, but there'd be guys that like would try to embarrass you or pull the chair out from underneath you and be funny and amongst all their friends. It's like very demeaning.
God, that sucks.
It is.
Yeah, that's bad.
Imagine playing a show like that, Poppy, and
Oh
then
my
kick your
God.
chair, unplug your guitar.
That would not go well.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just was like, it's not. I just wasn't made for it. I don't have the
It's
personality.
emotionally
for it.
draining too, but maybe you weren't aware of that on drugs.
No, I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I think about that too, of like, when you hear about an escort world of the girlfriend experience where you're like, you have to act like you're interested and like, oh my God, wow, what an amazing life that you have. Like, it's too much. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's the stripper thing. To make you feel like they're in love with you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is not anything.
Too much work.
Too much work. Yeah.
How long did that last?
Wasn't long. I think it was about on the weekends for about 4 or 5 months. And then I had an intervention, and then I lived in Cambridge for a little while. And you would consider that, what is that? A location?
Geographical.
Geographical.
What was the intervention?
Oh, that they knew my family knew what I was up to. And
So it was your family that did it?
yeah.
How did that go? Like they said, hey, you want to come over for dinner? And then all of a sudden they're all sitting there with like serious looks on their face?
No, you're just going in and out. And, most of my family was still living at home at the time. And I think my brother and sister-in-law came down for the weekend. And I popped out, met some friends, and then I came back in around evening time, and everyone was in the living room. And
Right.
you walk in, when everyone's in a room,
Yeah.
one room, you just know that.
Something's up.
Is it my birthday? I'm waiting for a surprise.
And what did they say?
They were just, well, first of all, I've had friends
Sarah, sit
in and
down.
out. Yeah. And I had friends that were in and out of rehab growing up, and they just they didn't think it worked. And so they were just like, we just think you have a lot of time on your hands, and like, we need to figure out something. And so I got confronted, and then I had like a breakdown because it wasn't that's not what I wanted to do. So I thought maybe moving to another country and just kind of like resetting. But then I moved to a country where the drinking age was 18. And I think that just kicked up alcoholism.
Right.
Yeah.
Cambridge, UK, not Massachusetts.
Yeah, not Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
Why'd you pick Cambridge?
I had family that lived there, and it sounded like cool, and it was far away from stuff. And then I thought maybe, I don't know. And then also my mom's English, so I could get citizenship. And I could just go to the embassy and set up. I didn't have to deal with like a visa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do in your day to keep your sort of endorphins up? Do you exercise or do anything like that? Yoga or anything like that?
I do. I was running a lot, and then I got plantar fasciitis, so now I just do yoga.
The same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
That plantar fasciitis, that shit lasts forever.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It won't disappear. I think
What
it's
is it?
gone.
It goes away eventually.
It's it feels like I have my heel bone is just hitting directly to the cement with no cushion.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets really tight, so I find that yoga stretches it, and then that it's a pretty decent workout.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
on the bottom of your foot.
And it only happens from running, or it could happen even
Mostly, I think.
Mostly, yeah. And I think from like concrete running because I would run 5 times a week, sometimes 6. I just love it. Once I find something that I love and it makes me feel good after, then I want to do it no matter how bad an injury.
Yeah.
Like I will push to the point that I'm like, I shouldn't do this.
Has yours healed yet or still not?
It's still not. I got a foot massage. I thought that was going to make it better, but it heals faster than it was beforehand. Where if I went running, I couldn't walk on it properly for a few days, but now it's fine. It's just lightly painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoga's great too.
I love yoga.
I love yoga.
It's always a weird thing because you start it and you're like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And then after 3 flows, you're in it. And then you're like, I'm going to be done soon and I'll feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The endorphins are off the hook.
Yeah.
That's where addiction works out for you. Like if you can sort of transfer it into something like, people say, oh yeah, working out's another addiction, but it's a good one.
Yeah. I don't see the problem in it. It's only 1 hour out of my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my phone is a big addiction.
That's huge.
I'm trying to wean it and I'm trying to work.
What's
writing? I'll write after yoga for about half an hour. And then I find making a video. And then I really like editing.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you edit on?
Adobe Premiere.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like sculpting. You come out with a big thing. You put it down roughly. And then you slowly start shaving off the ends and like creating a story.
That's cool.
I think it's great. Wouldn't mind if I got a job in it.
I got to check out your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, please do.
Can't believe I haven't already.
Don't worry.
Man. So how long have you been married?
3 years. I think it'll be 4 years in August. 2017 is when I got married.
And are you guys going to have kids?
Well, we're talking about it, but I'm old.
No, you're not.
I'm 42.
Well, okay. It's time.
It's time.
It's
my last.
Yeah.
It's the last sprint.
Right.
Yeah.
It needs to happen soon.
Yeah, you should get on that.
Yeah. But we've only started making money relatively to have a kid in the last few years.
But they come with money. That's what they
I've
say.
heard.
They come with their own money.
They do?
Well, that's what they say. And
Who
I
says
think
that?
I think
there's
it's
some
true.
truth.
I think it's true because once it's about to happen for you, you sort of step up.
You step up, and then I also notice this when I've worked other jobs, like particularly in Houston. I always noticed as soon as like somebody got married, they got promoted because I think they're like the job is like, oh, they need us, and we have them for a lifetime because they're married.
It's also because God favors them now.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and
yeah.
hook you up.
it does work out that way. I don't know why, but.
Yeah.
People tend to help you out in that aspect, I think.
So you guys are talking about it.
We're talking about it.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, what a funny kid that will be.
Yeah, we'll hope. Yeah.
I like the roast battle between you and Joe List.
Yeah, that was really fun. A lot of people are like, did that ruin y'all's relationship? I'm like, not even close.
It was light.
Right.
It was
It was
light.
light.
Oh, no, they got it in though. It was like
I watched it today. It was light.
they went
Yeah.
in, but
But we knew exactly what people would be like, oh shit, that we didn't care about.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel he was precious with you and you were less precious with him.
Yeah. But we wrote the jokes together and with friends. So nothing was a surprise or
right.
weird. And we were like, we're just doing this for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we're like, we love to just fucking rip each other apart in front of an audience.
How did you guys meet?
He is friends with another comic that I knew from Houston that moved to New York. And then he lived 2 blocks away from me. And I love convenience.
Yeah.
I really do.
I
It's
feel
like,
you.
Keep it simple.
Proximity.
I loved hanging out with him. It was easy. We
He
get
was
along
the closest
so nice.
comic available.
Yeah.
So I got him.
Yeah. Well, he checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
And proximity is a big one for me.
Checked all the boxes. There's a joke there, but
Yeah.
I gotta be careful with cancel culture.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those boobs on your shirt? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is she
Isn't it?
like?
It's distracting.
I just, when you opened your coat, I was like, hold on.
I thought they were funny.
They
It's
are
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
They are
I like
So
it.
I like it.
Yeah. So you guys met, and then were you like a fan of his, or did you go to the cellar, or what was that like?
I think, well, he was dating somebody, and then I got out of a relationship. So we knew each other as friends for about 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he broke up, he moved 2 blocks away, and then we just started hanging out all the time. And then we would go to shows together. And like a big part of it is like, I just like hanging out with him. I've dated other people before, and the guy that was in the 6-year relationship, I could not tell you what was going on in that guy's mind. You know what I mean? Like, you can be dating somebody and you're like, well, I don't even think we're having fun. Like,
Right.
So we could just like watch TV and like go on trips together and like, we always have something to talk about.
Yeah, particularly now with all these personality disorders and stuff like that. People represent their false self, and you don't even know who you're dealing with half the time.
Until it's too late.
Yeah.
Until it's too late.
It's too late, yeah.
That's funny.
I know, isn't that funny? All these personality disorders where now you're going back through all your relationships and you're like, oh, that's what's happening there.
Yeah, it's funny. I got obsessed with all that, and then you start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you have to balance like knowledge of it so you don't get like down a dark rabbit hole, but also, I don't know, you got to live your life too.
Yeah, and just kind of like try to be understanding, because some people can have narcissistic traits, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a narcissist.
Evil.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black and white thinking, like when you go down the rabbit hole of NPD videos. Like it's all like, they are evil, we are good. And it's like, I finally came to the place of stepping away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shades of gray.
Oh, exactly. And you just take it what you like, and if that person makes you feel uncomfortable, then you just don't hang out with them that much.
Where do you guys live?
We live in Astoria.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Astoria. I lived there for 8 years.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Loved
it's great.
Loved it. Crescent and 34th Avenue.
That's where I lived.
Really?
By a bodega?
Yeah.
Me too.
The bodega on the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
Hold
weird.
on, I was 3438 Crescent Street. Unless you moved in there after I left.
It was upstairs, and it was right at the stoplight.
Oh, no, I was in the middle of the block. We were on the same block.
We were on the same block, yeah.
That's
I probably
crazy.
walked by it plenty of times.
Love Astoria.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Astoria's so cheap, relatively.
It used to be.
It still kind of is. And you can come home late, and it's fine.
Safe. Yeah.
Safe, yeah. And there's a lot of comics, and you're right by the airport, so it makes sense.
Mad convenient.
Again, the convenience.
Yes. I am lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I feel lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you perform mostly in New York now? Is it the Cellar? Is that the scene, or do you?
That occasionally. I don't really book there that much. But like a lot at New York Comedy Club. That's where I taped my album, and then my special on YouTube is from there.
Right.
And just all
Where's that?
where anyone will have me. They have one on 25th Street, and there was one on I think on 4th Street, but in the East Village. Yeah.
Do you guys work on routines together, or do you help each other, or is it?
No, I think we laugh at what together, but I think our process is different, and I think our sensibilities are actually quite different. Like
How so?
I consider Joe like a carpenter of comedy. Like he can just take a scenario and make it work and be on stage. And then for me, I feel like I need like a divine intervention, like a gift given to me. Like it's not I don't sit down and I write. It's usually from conversation, or if I'm washing the dishes, something will pop in my head and then I'll write on stage. But it comes to me that way. I'm not writing for an hour and being like, oh wow, I just created 5 minutes of material.
Right.
And it doesn't, I don't particularly enjoy my material coming out that way, because I find it very stiff for me.
Right. It's better to make it evolve live or something.
Yeah, like a dialogue or like you would be in a conversation.
So what's an example of something strikes you as funny, or you just like get a light bulb of inspiration and then explore it?
Well, I'll go from I'll use an example as like, I remember I I bought avocados and I was like, somebody had asked me to go do something and I was really seriously thinking about not because I wanted to get home. So, because I knew they were expiring. Tonight was probably my last night to have it. And I was like, how crazy that I'm just thinking like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it out tonight. My avocados are expiring and I need to be there for them.
It is stressful. I have those feelings too.
Because you're throwing out
you
money.
You buy 3, they're not ripe, and all of a sudden they ripen. Fuck, I got to do something
Every time you buy an avocado, it's a gamble.
Yeah. You never, and it's
and they're
like
expensive.
It is, and it's an infuriating process, and you're like, what a dumb thing that I'm just like saying no to life because I got to get home to my avocados. So those are the moments that I have and stuff like that, or like intrusive thoughts. I love those. Like, I'll have a thought of like thinking about like, I wonder what it's like to join a cult. And do you think I could get out of it? Like, I have the mental stability to get out of a cult? Like, I like the idea of joining a cult and seeing if I could get out of it. Like, is it that hard? Why is it so hard to get out of it? So just like those kind of thoughts, or
because you build your identity on it.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional families operate like cults.
Yeah.
The cult leader is your mom.
Yeah. Like try to serve her by buying the right couch.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You question whether she would approve of the choice?
Yeah, I'm like, cause it was like, would my mom like this?
Right.
Yeah.
But your dad's accepting and loving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But he enables your mom.
I think so.
So he's not that innocent.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a dark mask, or there's a darkness behind his mask
Lord,
too.
Sauron.
But isn't there, and like relationships like that, there is the enabler. I'm afraid I'm the enabler.
Of Joe?
Yeah. Or just of people in general.
Like how so?
Well, I remember the guy that I was with 6 years. He also smoked so much pot, and I hated it, but I would still buy him a nice bong for his birthday.
Right.
Like, what am I doing?
Classic enabler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wanted him to like me or like make the relationship at ease or something.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know.
He wasn't the comic, right?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
No.
Is it common for comics to marry comics, or it doesn't happen a lot?
I think it happens.
Other than Amy Schumer and Jesselnick, were they married or they were just together?
They were just together, but like Bonnie and Rich, Rosebud and Andy, Steve Rogers, Caitlin Palufo, Chloe I mean, I think most people...
most of them end up with comics? It's easier?
It is. You have, like, it's just so much easier. I don't understand that people are like, I don't date comics, and I get it, but I'm like, well, it's really hard to find anybody, so why limit yourself?
That's true.
Yeah, keep it open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the problem with comics?
Why is it like any other? They're the only ones that'll get what you do. Like, you could go out every night and they'll understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How have you been dealing with the pandemic and sort of being sequestered, with Joe or whatever, like as opposed to, I guess before that you guys were probably touring separately and doing things or...
Yeah, I was doing the road with him quite a bit. And then pandemic happened and we were fine. Like we ended up right before it happened, our landlord offered us a downstairs apartment for a really good deal. So we turned it into an office. So for about 5 hours out of the day, either one of us goes down there and we work or create. And I made it into the yoga studio. And
nice.
Yeah. And then I sit in the office and answer emails and try to write and, podcast or edit.
Yeah. Did you get any kind of sort of benefits from this period of time? Like, did it evolve you in a certain way?
Yeah. I think I realized that for me, stand-up is not working as a business.
Right.
Meaning, like, I'm not making a profit.
Yeah.
Where I'm at. And I'm, like, doing fine. So I realized, like, one of the things I was like, I'm going to stop doing as many spots and kind of work on podcasting. And also, I'd like to start doing filmmaking and sketch.
Yeah.
So I was going to do that and then work on my social media numbers. And I think those have better benefits than doing a spot every night.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube thing is really smart.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I've been, procrastinating, really sort of diving into, but I definitely feel like it's what I need to get into.
It's also a lot of work. It's not less work than spots.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but I like the skill set that I have. I love telling jokes and I like doing stand up, but I also don't like traveling 45 minutes to do 7 minutes to a crowd that doesn't give a shit.
Fuck, yeah.
Right.
Or the Friday night audience that's just looking at their phone, or I'd get a 1 a.m. spot and it's just like people sleeping because either they're drunk or just tired from a long day, that you're like, is this fun? It's not fun.
Right.
That I was like, I could just you can deliver jokes from your couch and get a gauge if it's funny or not from social media. And then I could just work it on stage on the road.
Yeah, like Tim Dillon is like a master of it, what he's created this last year.
Yeah. I feel like he's a good example of like how that can benefit you.
Right.
But I never want to say that you should do one way of doing something, but I just feel like stand-up doesn't pay.
Yeah.
And I think there's other avenues that you could look at. And if those other places blow up, it helps you in the stand-up department.
Yeah. How often are you like making something you think is funny, but you edit it out because you're worried about the cancel situation or freedom of speech leaning on you?
I don't so much. I remember going through my Twitter and putting in buzzwords and then my handle to see what I had that was problematic. And even the stuff that I was like, oh, I'll just delete that, like, retarded was in there, or Puerto Rican, or I mean, this was like during, I would say, from 2008, 2013. Was it
retarded Puerto Rican? Because that's problematic. Then. That is
problematic.
Checks all the boxes.
In fact, that is
but
cancelable.
I mean, like anything I could think of, like rape jokes, and anything that's like. I did have rape jokes, and a lot of them just didn't even do well. It's not even like I could stand behind those jokes and be like, oh, come on, that's really great. And so I don't mind doing that. There are moments like so I got an appointment for a vaccination, but I'm worried that people are going to think that I jumped the line. And it's really
just don't post about it.
Well, I did a joke is because like, I'm technically a restaurant worker, and I did have asthma as a kid, and but it's just funny to me, like I'm going in as an asthmatic restaurant worker, and I was very kind of hesitant about tweeting that as a joke. But then I was like, oh, who cares? If I'm worried about this, then maybe I shouldn't be doing stand-up.
Well, that's the thing with stand-up especially. It's all about like turning the story into an outrageous moment. That's where the funny is.
Teetering on the line a little bit or saying something
it's like
outrageous.
Yeah, you have to.
I agree.
It's weird too because it's like those late night talk shows that got so unfunny recently, more because they just became so sort of political and sort of agenda based, and then after a while it's like, this isn't funny anymore. Like,
no, we were just watching 4 white guys just be angry for 4 years, instead of being like irreverent and funny,
right?
Yeah,
but it's weird that they continue to do that too.
But I get it. I mean,
Corden tried to stay funny.
Yeah, and
they still had light stuff.
Yeah, and they're good at like their online stuff, but like. Also, those guys are there to sell yogurt and hamburgers, and those are ad space that they're selling. So they're not in a position to have like strong opinions anymore.
No, but it's like also they're all saying the same thing. So then you start going like, what is this? Like, what are they trying? They're trying to push this narrative, and that just seems so.
It's boring.
Boring and not funny, and also kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not.
It gets weird after a while. Like I watch it now, fascinated almost, like from this, like watching, I guess, a train wreck in my mind. Like I'm watching some weird thing. Like, what is going on?
Yes, where they're like bringing up an Instagram photo from their vacation and being like, what's happening in this photo? And you're like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, it's weird.
I want to just get like stupid and funny on here.
Right.
Like I always enjoyed watching Conan back in the day, especially if he'd had a guest on that he knew was kind of spicy, but he would never like shame them. He'd always be like, oh my God,
Right.
you're going to get me in trouble. We're in trouble. We're going to get canceled. But he would always have he never shamed him for ideas that they had or a funny joke or an opinion.
Yeah, he didn't really go that route, did he? He's still pretty funny, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think
He changed his format. He adapted.
Yeah.
He adapted.
He realized
and
what was
that's
going
smart.
on, and he's like, "This format is dead. I need to keep it to 30 minutes. Like, change everything."
Podcast it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team
it's more
Coco
interesting. Team
for
Coco.
the win.
Yeah.
I love Conan.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Conan.
Yep.
You're
Please
welcome.
have us.
You're welcome on the podcast.
Yeah. Have me back. I've been on Conan.
You have?
Oh yeah, twice.
That's amazing.
I actually did a panel on. I went over
How
to
did I
the
miss
couch. I don't know, man. I've been doing this
Really?
a long time. It might have been before I knew you.
What? You were on the couch for Conan?
Yeah, he invited me over and I talked.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Was
great.
that like
For
a
a second.
Carson moment? Like, come to the couch with Conan?
Kinda.
Nice.
I guess. Kinda. Yeah.
Were you on?
what you
You were on
want.
Leno too, right?
I was on Leno and I was Letterman 5 times.
Wow.
It's like that Mitch Hedberg joke, though. It's like, you know that Mitch Hedberg joke about late night talk shows? Like, who sees the like? It's like I'm Mitch Hedberg. You've seen me at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to on late night. I mean, I'm butchering that. He's funny when
Yeah.
he says it. Imagine that's funny, and that.
Right.
that's
No,
like-
it is.
You know, because it is true. It's weird. It's like,
Oh yeah, I did late night twice, and both times I went to my day job like the next day.
yeah,
It's just like now the joke is you go do late night so you can get a really great tape.
right.
Yeah,
To
That's
use.
funny.
but it does help on the road, like when club bookers
Welcome, Sarah. You've seen her
Yeah.
on James Corden.
or like they'll throw it on the website, and then people are like, "Oh, she's on." Like
Yeah.
they get it.
It
They
used
fall
to
for
mean
it.
something.
It
Not that I'm
did.
belittling
No,
what you did, but it
but
used
you
to
can-
be
you
like
can
late
belittle
night
so
made
much
or made or broke you. What happened?
Yeah, made or break you.
Yeah, make
Yeah.
or break you. Yeah.
But it doesn't do shit.
Anymore.
I don't
Not
even think
really.
it gives you that much Twitter or Instagram followers.
Right.
I think doing a podcast, like I did Are You
This one.
Garbage, like this one too.
Yeah.
This one
Well-
will get
Are
some
You
hits.
Garbage was funny. That was
fun.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but they were great on like just having one thing to like focus in on.
It's a smart concept.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's fun.
Yeah. And they were talking about your thing with drinking half and half and Philadelphia cream
Oh
cheese
my God, and strawberries.
and strawberries.
Yeah, my fat fuck dessert.
And then the fat fuck. And you're like spilling it all over you in the shower and stuff.
You could
That's
relate,
pretty-
Poppy, right?
Well, I can because I sort of lean in towards that sort of keto
Yeah.
thing. Like, oh, fat's okay. So I drink like full fat, like goat milk yogurt a lot. And
I
it's
love it.
it's delicious.
It's a dessert.
It's just like, and I'll sometimes drink like 2 or 3 big ones like in a night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, I do no research on this. I just see one doc,
Mhm.
and I'm like, this is what
I'm
I gotta
sold.
do. So I have my heart could just be enlarged. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah. I know. I went down that rabbit hole too.
Many rabbit holes.
Yeah.
It's
Always.
fun.
Are you still on it?
Yeah, I'm back on. I like fall off because it's when especially going to family, it's hard to explain. I just feel like I'm explaining an eating disorder to them. And so it's just easier for me to, eat what everybody else is eating.
Eat some carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, and also I think, I don't know, like my sister's vegan and that I get annoyed with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you have to cater to it.
Yeah.
Then they have to mention it in every conversation.
Yeah.
And,
That's
it's not
cliche.
anything wrong. And I get it. I think it's a really good choice to make.
Yeah.
And I would like to go that route. I'm just, again, it's like out of laziness sometimes. It's a lot of work. I would just eat junk food if I went vegan.
Yeah, I've tried that before.
Yeah.
It didn't feel healthy after a while. It felt like I was like withering away. I
Yeah.
know that'll probably get vegans mad if you say that, but just that was my experience with it.
And then you went
Yeah.
all meat, and you told me you felt great.
Yeah, I did that. I did do the carnivore thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
You got
did-
me on that, and then I got gout, and I bailed out.
Were you drinking though? with
No,
it?
it was just protein, just like
Oh,
meat,
wow.
meat. And then I got gout in my toe. I couldn't walk for like a week, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Is that what you do? Carnivore?
Well, I incorporate vegetables, but I probably eat way too much cheese than I should.
Mm-hmm.
But and then they're like, you can have blueberries, and I think I eat the shit out of blueberries.
Those are great.
They're so good, but I love heavy cream, and I pretty much take sips out of it day long.
Half and half.
Yeah.
Half and half and cream cheese.
Yeah.
When
Flavored half
when
and
did
half?
the inspiration come to put cream cheese in it to amp it up? Like,
Well, I got a cookbook,
uh-huh.
and that was one of the keto desserts, and I was like, well, I could do that. And I love milkshakes, and when I had the first one, I was just hooked.
Right.
It's so good.
You
Yeah.
blend it, right? You don't
You
just
blend it,
drop
yeah.
in the cream cheese chunk.
Exactly. But you know what? At Katz's Deli, I don't know if they do it here, but I know in Houston, they have a cream cheese milkshake, and that's really good too. And that's full of sugar.
Right.
Like, it's just a whole cheesecake with ice cream and some cream.
Sounds delicious.
Delicious.
It's amazing.
Delicious.
I love eating like fast food. I just like anything that's really bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't like when you're not eating bread and then you have bread or a little bit of bread ends up in what you're eating, your body knows right away, and they're like, this is what we've been waiting for this whole entire time.
Yeah.
It just knows, and I'm like, this is what my heart desires, and this is what I want. I want to eat pizza every single day of the
At
week.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
$1 slice. Please.
Easily.
Yeah. I want to get back into a more disciplined routine. That's I'm definitely.
Doesn't it make you feel better though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're like doing everything right, and I don't know, it's hard to sustain it though.
It is hard, and then it's hard when you go and visit family and you feel like
Judged.
I feel judged when I'm like, I don't want to eat any of the food that you've made for me.
Right.
And I also want to do my workout routine when I want to do it at 10 o'clock, even though I know you guys have planned something else.
Right.
But I just go with the flow. But it really, and I have fun, but at the same time, there's a part of me that I feel out of my skin because
Yeah.
I've broken my routine. I really like my routines.
Well, has the dynamic shifted in that you're kind of like, achieving success and having like a, successful marriage and all that? Has the dynamic shifted in your family of origin?
Like my
Are you less of the black sheep now, or are you still black sheepish? It's
I
a
have
role of a
no
lifetime,
idea.
they say.
Is it a role of a lifetime?
It's a role of a lifetime, yeah.
I don't know. I sometimes think some of these things that we put on ourselves, we do put on ourselves. Like I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately of like social constructs, and that we can be our own prisons.
Absolutely.
By what we say to ourselves. So I feel I am the black sheep of the family, just of like drug and alcohol, and then the path that I've taken. But I also have a stability that the others don't have as much, I think.
Right.
Like, I think out of the four, not that I think, I'm the only one that's married.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is shifting a little bit.
It does shift, yeah.
Only 3 years. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
That's pretty good, though.
I just checked the box. I was married. I'm better than you guys.
Do you have any nieces or
Excellent
nephews?
point. Yes, I have 2 nieces. Well, one niece and one nephew. One's transitioning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old are they?
One's out of high school, just out, and then the other one's like 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's the family adjusting to the transitioning process?
Good. We accept. Of course, we accept, and
Yeah.
we'll call you whatever you want us to call you by. We just want you to be happy, and that's generally always been the consensus in the family.
That's cool.
Yeah, my parents were always very open.
Liberal minded.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, particularly now. I mean, it would be weird to like not accept it,
Well, I remember, like, I grew up in Texas, in the suburb of Texas, and I remember my 6th grade music teacher, everyone always had gay jokes about him, and I remember talking about it and, going in on the joke. And then I remember my parents being like, I don't understand why you find that funny, and somebody's sexual orientation shouldn't be a joke. And it was just like, I'm so grateful
Right.
that I had, because it could easily go the other way with like, it's an abomination and, a negative connotation. And I'm so happy that I had a family that knew not to have those thoughts.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Are you close to your nieces?
I wish I was a little bit closer, but I do. When I see them, we have a great time, and then I text them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you text them. They're also at an age where they're doing their thing.
Right.
Yeah. I just want them to be happy. I see one on TikTok all the time, and we exchange on TikTok.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you guys have kids.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Fingers crossed.
The obvious was the pandemic was a perfect time.
I know.
to get
Well,
into
it takes a long time.
Why?
My percentages are down. They say something. I looked online.
It
It's
is.
like 6% at 42.
My girlfriend gave birth at 41, and that was considered a miracle. It's like 1 to 16 million chance. But
It
42,
happens a lot.
42, the percentage, the actual biological percentage of getting pregnant is not easy,
Yeah.
but not impossible.
Not impossible, because I know a lot of people that have.
Well, can't you sort of induce it or something like that? Like if you go to a fertility
It's
doctor?
expensive.
You can't.
Really
it's
expensive.
really expensive. And also, it's
Like $15,000 or more.
causes tension. And I figured,
Yeah.
it'll be great if we can. And if we don't, then it's just, that's the way it is. And I've accepted that.
You could
Right.
adopt, or you could get a puppy.
It's hard to adopt.
It's hard to, yes,
adopt.
everything is hard. Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
adopt. But if you really want a kid, then, there's ways.
That's true. Or we could kidnap.
That's cancelable. You definitely get canceled on that.
Guys, I'm not going to kidnap.
All right.
Just
that was a joke. She's
to
a
take that
comic.
back.
So you had like an interesting story with like your neighbors getting murdered or something like that when you were growing up.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
Well, it's weird because a lot of, people always like think about like, oh, growing up in the city must be dangerous. And I'm like, I don't know. The suburbs has a dark undertone that I think most people aren't aware of. But like, God, the town that I grew up in, it was called Kingwood, the Livable Forest. And it was an affluential middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class. George Foreman's family, he raised his family there. So it was a well-to-do neighborhood, and then the neighbors 4 houses down in the middle of the night in '86 were bludgeoned to death by some rando. And he admitted to it 8 hours later. He said he threw the crowbar in the lake, and they found the crowbar, and he's still in prison now. But it was one of those things where you're like, you think, I always thought like I was safe, and then that really like instilled horrific fear in me.
Yeah, the boogeyman was right next door.
Every night I throw from there, even to this day, I walk into my apartment, I always check behind the shower curtain. I look under the bed. I would throw my stuffed animal at the curtain all the time to make sure there's nobody hiding behind there. I remember running late at night, like to get upstairs, running by the window because I was always afraid there was somebody out there. Like it just like shakes what you think is safe. We were like, nothing's safe anymore.
Right. How old were you when that happened?
I was in 2nd grade. I know it was like when Spaceballs came out because we went to go watch.
May the Schwartz be with you.
To get your mind off of it.
To get our mind off of it.
Yeah.
Jews in space.
Yeah. It worked. It was pretty great. But yeah, it was like, and it was no rhyme or reasoning to it. It was just a random act that happened.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
And he never explained why it was, or was it was just random?
Just random.
Sort of Charlie Manson style.
Yeah, he was another kid from a family that also grew up in Kingwood, and he came from a big family, and apparently, from what I gathered, he had some mental issues, but that was about it.
Yeah. So you're in therapy too, huh?
Yeah, I was, but then I stopped with pandemic because I wasn't having income coming in, but I actually made more money doing unemployment than I did doing stand-up. So
Right.
I should have probably gone back.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of benefit from that?
Therapy? Yeah. I think he helped with my, I'd still like to go, but it's just so expensive, even though he was on a sliding scale. And then I think I overpriced myself because he was like, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then I was like, $100 a week, which is pretty good for therapy. But for me, I was like, that's still a lot.
But then why didn't you just say to him, hey, I no longer feel comfortable with $100 a week?
That
would be a therapy thing to talk about.
It would be a therapy thing to talk about, but it seems like such a weird...
For one meeting, one session, 100?
Once a week, yeah.
For like an hour?
And
50
45
minutes.
minutes.
Oh,
50 minutes.
you're overpaying.
It's never the full...
Half.
I mean, that's what
$45.
that's the going rate for.
Come on.
That
sounds like a lot to me.
That's a cost-effective therapist, actually. I mean, some people pay like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Easily for he's great, but like, and he's very charitable and he likes to give back to the community, but he works a lot with comics and he's been doing it for years. And I think he was good of like, I think as a comic or an artist, you feel like maybe you're not doing things right. And he made me learn to accept like that's not your process and that's not how things are. And yeah.
I heard you talking with Joe about like, if you have a day of procrastination, you don't do much. You just have to go like, well, that's what I could do today.
Yeah.
That's all I could do.
Today was just my day to chill.
Yeah, I went to a therapist in New York a long time ago, but then I found out he was like into speedballs, and he would like nod out, I think, but like behind me, and I remember he had like a situation where he was telling me about this girl he met online, a woman. He was an older guy, and he said, it's perfect. It's going to be great. The only thing we need to know that we don't know is if our pheromones match up or not. That's really important.
Oh,
and I just thought that was such a weird thing for him to talk to me about.
Well,
who's getting the therapy here?
Like,
you
like you're talking to me about pheromones and stuff. It's kind of weird, but his whole thing was life is miserable unless you're kind of in love and in a relationship.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it's like, well, not everyone gets that. And I think it's really hard to find it.
Yeah.
And sometimes in order to get it, you also have to compromise a lot. And I think we put so much weight thinking that these people know more than we do. And I think a lot of the times they don't. And you just want to find somebody that's just right for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody now. I feel like I'm at that stage where I have a lot going on and I need to talk to somebody. Not bad. It's all good stuff, but it's just like I'm feeling that lately. I'm shopping. I'm therapist shopping right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I found a guy.
I only know one. But
I could introduce you to a woman I know.
Okay.
Friend of the family who is a therapist.
Oh yeah. I think I want to go to a dude though.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This guy's into Tai Chi too, so I want to get into Tai Chi and therapy. Tai
Chi sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you working on with the YouTube channel? What's the next move with that in terms of like what's your inspiration coming, moving forward? What do you want to make films about?
I'm going to put my special on and it should be ready soon. But I want to create short films and I want to submit them to festivals and I want to put them on my channel and then eventually put my own movies on my channel.
Like comedy sort of things?
Yeah, some comedies. I have one horror film idea that I want to do.
Are we talking about like full-on movies or like little 15-minute things or?
I think I would write a full movie, but I would definitely shoot just 15 minutes because I think that's doable and financially.
If you need a videographer, I'm free.
Okay. Yeah. I never know. I never know who to ask. But yeah, I think you can submit that into festivals and there's so many festivals and I think that's, I don't know. It always sounds like they need more female filmmakers. So,
yeah.
And I like it and I like film and I like editing and I like creating an idea and putting it on screen.
What do you shoot with?
I just do my iPhone right now.
Yeah, that's good enough.
I mean, some of
it works.
It works.
We shot a music video with my iPhone.
A lot of people do.
And it looks great.
I know. I wish my sound was a little bit better, but you can
well, you got to sound is the most important thing.
Yeah.
More than the video.
I agree. because I think, especially with comedy, all you want to do is just get the joke across and make you. Also, with sweet editing techniques, you can make something look really great. Like Beyonce made a video on her iPhone, and I thought it looked amazing, and it's still captivating. Sometimes I think, like videos that or movies that get so hot, like CGI or too fancy, kind of lose out on like the fun story aspect of it.
Yeah, people concentrate on the wrong thing with that, the technicalities and stuff. I'm guilty of that. I was getting ready to do my YouTube channel, and I went out and bought
a million cameras,
tons of like really like expensive camera gear and stuff like that, and then I never did it.
Every day he would.
I haven't done it yet.
I changed it for this one. I changed it for this one.
No, I get it, because you want to and you feel like you need to, but then I feel like it just gets in my way, and the easiest thing for me to film is my iPhone, and so
it's not the gear, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, I think you can create something still pretty nice.
Yeah,
with just an iPhone.
But invest in audio.
Yeah,
invest. Rode have these small little square wireless microphone and receiver that plugs into your phone, and it'll take your stuff to the next level.
Yeah, it does
for sure, and it's so easy. And it's not as difficult as you want, and it takes another 10 minutes to set up and maybe $150 investment, but it'll change what you're doing.
Yeah, I do need to look at that, because I was like, I should maybe get some lavaliers or something.
No, it's like, it's day and night.
Yeah.
It's day and night, and if you're putting out content, audio is more important than video. And just don't do it otherwise.
Well, I just figured that, like, if I was getting so good that somebody wanted to do that, an actual videographer would be like, I'd love to work with you, and then we can start talking. But I just feel like, oh, I got to get this and I got to learn how to do this. I'm like, I'm never going to get it done.
I'll talk with you after. I'd love to work with you. But it's so simple to do it, to do it on yourself. I had a question since he's in the bathroom. You did get into the cellar, right?
Yeah, I got passed. It's just like, I don't know.
I ask every comic that comes down here because it fascinates me. What was your process with SD? Like, how did your audition go, or when were you in? Like, how long did it take you, that process?
Well, I've been wanting to get in there for a long time, but it's so hard because, like, I never want to put a comic in a weird position you have to be vouched for.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, you usually have to get like several recommendations, and by like pretty substantial people, or people that she trusts, what I gather. And Joe was the only one. And who's going to, I'm sorry, and I'm guilty of this too, but when somebody's like, hey, can my wife audition, or a husband? Like, are you really going to take them seriously that they're a comic?
Right.
Like, no one's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
he was the only one that would vouch for you?
No. Well, I got fortunate because at the time, like, Week at the Cellar at Comedy Central, and I worked from them, and they had put my name in there. And so that's how I got
into the audition.
And I did it during brunch, which I don't think most people get to, but it was like the only opening at such a short notice. And I did it, and I went after Mateo, which I was nervous about because that guy fucking destroys.
Yeah, he was on the podcast.
Yeah, he's great.
He's funny.
And you're like, he's such a big act to follow, and it's like, you get worried about that. And I was just told, just do your tried and true. So I did my tried and true, and I did really well. And so she booked me, and I got spots.
So you're in.
I was in, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
He told us the story of how she called him over. It was really funny.
Really? Yeah. Mine
his audition is very funny.
Yeah, mine was just like your run of the mill. I think what most people
You're making her feel bad.
No, well, she's in.
Mateo told us that she threw roses at his feet and said, "You're my favorite."
He just imitated her. That's all. His impression of her was very funny. Yes.
What advice would you give to young comedians or people who want to like step into that world of stand-up, because it is such an intimidating thing to do? Like, for most people, it's a terrifying.
Oh, for like doing
thing.
Cellar?
Or no, just in general. Like, if you're starting out, like for people that are just listening who haven't yet ever done it. Like,
asking for a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know, because I actually do have low-key ambitions that I want to do that kind of thing someday.
Be honest, Poppy. It's okay.
Yeah. What advice would you give?
I always say, I'll just say, go to your open mic, go up as much as you can. And then I also try to tell people, look, you're not going to be the worst person that goes up that night. at an open mic. So just
well,
go
somebody's going to be the worst.
Well, somebody is, but not
somebody
if you,
is, and maybe it's the person asking you.
But rarely.
Yeah.
If you have somewhat of a decent head on your shoulders and come in with some thoughts, then just start going to the open mics. And sometimes I actually think like, don't even worry about writing jokes. Write out your thoughts and just talk about those, because I think you'll find your point of view that way easier, and learn how to be captivating.
Yeah.
Like people can talk about their day and I still find it fascinating, even if there's not a joke to it.
It's true.
It's still funny.
Yeah, I think we like watching each other.
Yeah, like if you figure out a way to tell me how you're problem solving in your brain on stage through your day-to-day life, that'll be funnier than most things anyone will ever do. Yeah. Because your thoughts are like unusual.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like I like that style, just sort of the improvisation and just like sort of speaking your mind out loud. And I like leaning into awkwardness too.
Yeah. Any like weird moments, anything that in your mind that's like, that's weird. Yeah. Just say it. Just say why it's weird and figure out why it's weird.
And what about the school of comedy that's more like, I guess, like Mark Normand, like where it's like just joke, or, or like Anthony Jeselnik. It's like,
those are great if you can do it, but I think it's a lot harder to come up with more material that way than creating like, thoughts and ideas. Yeah. I love jokes, but I also feel like at the 20-minute mark, if you have like 4 joke setups that are very similar and you keep going through it, your audience is going to get tired. Right. I think you have to figure out a way to be more dynamic on stage, or figure out like longer joke formats.
Premises.
Yeah. Yeah. Switch it up. I remember this was weird. Like because you do it all the time, you think you know everything about it. But one time I went to Moon Tower because Joe was there, and my family most of them live in Austin. My brother loves stand-up. So we got him to go in, and it was at the theater in Austin. And I noticed it was so weird. I sat in the crowd like a regular audience person, which I haven't done in ages. And all the comics that stood still, they were doing about 15 minutes. I was getting so sleepy that I realized you have to have some movement and some like inflection in your voice. Right. You got to keep the audience like,
awake.
Wake. You do. And I'm not saying that they're not funny. I just realized, and when you're in a theater setting like that, you have to be more dynamic.
Yeah, you have to bring energy.
Yeah. Even if you're like, I don't know, subtle or dry, you can still bring energy with dry. Yeah. Yeah.
Podcasting is similar. You got to bring energy.
Yeah.
I'm more like aware of that. I want to bring more energy. It's like I sometimes watching like Logan Paul's podcast or those guys. They bring a lot of energy.
Can you imagine? Like, think how tired you would be though if that like trying to be that way, if that's not you. Right. I think about that. Like, I look at like Eliza Schlesinger. She does a lot of act outs in her show. And I was like, if I try to do that, I would have to take like serious naps right after.
What's an act out?
Like doing dinosaur noises.
Right. Impressions constantly.
Impressions.
She's really funny.
A lot of facial, getting down on the ground.
Yelling.
Like, exerting energy. You're like, that is not in my wheelhouse. And that's not how I am a lot of times. I'll do it if I think that the joke calls for it, but like I get impressed with those kind of performers. Yeah.
I guess Joe Rogan's like that too.
He goes full. I mean, I remember watching him in Houston years ago when it was during his Fear Factor. Yeah. That room was torn up, like just paper you know what I mean? Like the chairs were out of place. Like people lost their shit because he just would give like 110%. Yeah. Yeah.
Rock star energy.
It was. You're like, this is like arena shit.
Yeah. Well, that's where he wound up.
Yeah.
Stadiums. What about like, are you guys thinking about making an exodus out of NYC? Are you or Queens? Are you staying? Are you gonna go to Texas and be a part of the comedy revolution that's gonna happen there with Chappelle and Joe Rogan and all those, and I guess Tim Dillon now?
Yeah. Well, I love Austin. They always have like every 10 years they're the hot city to go to, and I just feel like things go back to normal again. And I get it though. Like New York and LA aren't very conducive for an artist's lifestyle. It's actually, I think they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be this expensive. And also they don't make it easy to do things sometimes. Like, so I get why people leave. And if you're podcasting, why spend so much money on real estate when you could move into and have a really nice place in a cheaper city that has stuff going on?
Jersey City.
Yeah.
It's becoming, less and less important as to, I think, where you are.
Yeah.
Because so much is on YouTube and the internet and everything like that now. That's the whole game, really.
Yeah. And I like I don't really feel like a lot of people watch that much TV.
No.
I don't watch that much TV. All of it's streaming.
I haven't even I just moved like a couple months ago and I still haven't turned my TV on.
Yeah.
I just, you just look at your phone.
Yeah, I just watch from the apps on the TV. And then I also am like, I don't know what managers and agents are going to do. Maybe booking agents, but like, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, we keep creating our own stuff for us.
It's getting more and more that way too with the whole sort of NFT revolution, non-fungible tokens.
I'm still figuring.
Well, you can tokenize, like, say your sort of YouTube special, you could make a token of that, and so it becomes another revenue stream for you that doesn't affect at all the current revenue stream. So it's just an additional revenue stream on everything.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, getting somebody to buy it as a token, that's the card trick, I guess. But
yeah, I saw that Kings of Leon are doing that.
Yeah, they did it.
But like, so you have to go to a place to get a token?
Well, you can go to OpenSea is an open format for it. There's other ones like Nifty Gateway, which you have to get on kind of a waiting list, and it's a curated site. But there's ones like OpenSea and Rarible where you can, create a token. So you could even take like little clips of your comedy special, like a specific segment of it, and make multiple tokens of it on OpenSea. And the gas fees are a lot. So it's Ethereum based. I don't know but I know you're anti-crypto.
I'm not anti-crypto.
I know, I'm just kidding. But it's Ethereum based. So the gas fee to mint a token is a lot. So it's like $100 per time you do it. But on OpenSea, you can create a whole. This may be complicated, but you can create a whole series and just pay one gas fee. So you could break up your special and create tokens, like make 10 segments of your special and create tokens and just pay one gas fee and put it up. You should do that. I mean, if you did that now, you'd be like cutting edge.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, I think all that stuff that you explain, like anytime I'm going to Panera and they're like, do you want to get a Panera card? I'm like, sure, that sounds great. And they're like, okay, all you have to do is go home and activate it. And I'm like, never mind.
Right.
Just fucking have it activated.
I know. I can never do that either.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You'll get the discount next time.
I'm not doing it.
Like, no, thank you.
Every time I go to Rite Aid, it's like I feel like I shame myself because it's like, do you have a Rite Aid card? And I'm like, no.
I just don't want to do that extra step. So I feel like explaining. I got MoviePass for my dad, and he could not grasp the concept of it.
What's MoviePass?
Remember MoviePass?
Yeah.
Like you paid $7 a month, and you can watch any amount of movies. You could go every
Tuesday or something for free, and you could go any matinee for free.
But you have to go on your app, and you have to like set it up through the app through several different like submission pages, and it was easy for me and you, but for my dad, that was like too much.
Well, the difference is with the Panera thing, you're getting what, 10% off of the sandwich. So the motivation is low. But with the NFT world, you could potentially make millions of dollars.
Yeah, was it Grimes has sold
6 million
Yeah.
on her digital art. Yeah.
Elon probably bought that. That was an inside job.
Well, the first guy that did it was Blau, this DJ artist, and he did it with an album that's 3 years old, and in one night he auctioned it off for $11.7 million. And
That's crazy.
And he had like 40,000 Instagram followers. I mean, he wasn't huge.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
popular DJ, but still, it's wild. It's wild, the potential there. I mean, for artists of all walks of life, it's, I think, a great thing. It's a bubble, but once it bursts, it will still be, it'll be like, the internet. It's not going to go away.
So what are you saying, that like if they buy your art, it's kind of like buying a share, that there's potential of it going up in money?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a
Well, that makes more
tradable,
sense to
it's a
me.
tradable asset.
Collector's item.
Yeah.
And people like to collect. That's what people don't get it. Like, why? I don't understand it. Like, why does this JPEG sell for $600,000 if anybody can have it? But what they have is the asset that's associated
that
with
could
it.
go up in price as time goes by, right?
Right. It's just it's an extension of the fact that we're all kind of living more and more in our phones, or the metaverse.
Yeah, I get that.
And as virtual reality, like, we're going to have virtual homes, and we're going to want to hang virtual art and have virtual comedy shows in our virtual homes. So that's where
already happening.
that's your lane.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well, there was a Black Mirror that I really liked. I forgot what it was called. It's about when you die, you're just as an external hard drive, and you can go anywhere that you want. And I actually feel like that's probably where we're going to.
Seems like it.
Yeah, our heaven will just be an algorithm that we've logged into.
Yeah. The social, what's it called? Social credit. That social credit thing is really unnerving.
What's that?
It's like what I guess is going on in China, where it's like, it is Black Mirror-ish, where it's like you get a social credit score. Like,
Oh God, it would be so bad. It's like
I know.
Yelping
I feel
your
like
friends,
I would
right?
be terrible too.
Yeah.
I feel like my social credit score is low.
Well, nowadays everything's a popularity contest.
I know, that's the drag.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I need a break from. Like, I just,
Yeah.
every day can't be a popularity contest.
No, and it's not just in the world that we live in. Like, I saw this thing saying that most promotions within businesses don't happen because you're doing an amazing job. It's because they know and just like you.
Right.
So,
I wish I was more likable.
yeah, I think you're likable.
Oh, thank you. I guess I was fishing for that. Yeah,
Score.
but it's a trip, man. Yeah, that's the part of it that is just like, I need to. That pushes me into spirituality, though, because if you can't sort of like divert your attention into sort of that popularity contest, that social media and everything, then where do you go from there? You go into the yoga and the meditation, and you get with the I am.
Yeah.
Where we're all equally popular with the I am consciousness.
True. But then are we just doing that because we're not popular?
Yes. But it's like that thing, blessed are the meek,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, so blessed are the unpopular. That's the new blessed are the meek.
Yeah, where it's such a burden. Once you're popular, then you're always having to create.
Well, that's it too. I've had I've had some moments. It's been a bit now, but like, where you're kind of up on top a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, that's like a fear-based place to be, because it's like, I got to keep.
Yeah. That's
the thing with being an artist or a comedian or an entertainer. It is like you're always applying for the job.
Yeah, it sucks. It feels like you're always trying to appease a gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have to say, in the beginning of pandemic, and even a little bit right now, I have a little bit of fear coming back out again, because I was actually really enjoying not just doing stuff for myself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have like discovered that.
Yeah.
And so I think things will shift in a maybe a positive way. But it's like, you're always appealing to a gatekeeper, but in this day and age, you're the gatekeeper.
Yeah, it's really up to you.
That you have to appeal to.
But it's like so tiring. Sometimes I want to just be like, can I just get discovered? Like in the 70s?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't somebody just do this for me? Can't somebody just launch these NFTs for me? Do I really have to figure this out?
Tomorrow's a year to the pandemic, by the way, to the lockdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did my album like on the 9th, and then I think the 13th or the 15th.
What's your special called?
It's called Voluptuous Boy.
Voluptuous Boy. What's that mean?
Just a fat kid.
But where'd the title? What's the
because
story behind the title?
It was I was at a bowling alley for Christmas before pandemic, and there was a bunch of kids there, and this kid did lose his shoe, and he was overweight. And that was the only descriptor I had for him. Like, the manager of the place was like, do you know what kid was just crying? And I didn't want to say fat one. So I was like, oh, I think it was that voluptuous boy.
That's worse, by the way.
Over the way.
If I was a voluptuous, I'd rather be called a fat boy than a voluptuous.
I like voluptuous. I don't know what it means, so I'm
going.
Usually it means it's like tits.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
tits
that.
And
it feminizes the boy in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because you said
feminizing why is feminizing I'm just getting into shit.
I know, but I'm saying as
tread lightly, Poppy.
Yeah. God, we have to tread lightly all the time. As a guy, I'm just saying I'd rather be called chubby than voluptuous.
I gotcha.
Voluptuous.
Or athletic.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what a positive term for a fat guy is.
That handsome boy.
Spirited.
Yeah, when we get brave.
It was the spirited kid. You know, the one that is passionate about food.
Yeah.
Passionate.
It's passionate.
Yeah.
Passionate.
Passionate about food is great.
That is great. Yeah.
Calorically passionate.
Yes.
Maybe that.
I'll do that next time.
Well, what else?
I mean,
did we cover
I
it?
think we covered everything.
We covered more than I thought we'd cover. It was
How long have we been going?
Like
2 hours.
Almost 2, a little shy of 2.
That's
amazing.
It flew by.
I could just talk forever because I've been alone for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean? You got Joe.
I got Joe.
Apparently, he's not a big talker, Poppy.
Well, today we were shooting stuff, but there are times where it is weird. I don't know if it's just podcasting, but I feel like I can just talk about whatever because there's so much shit happening.
Are you on Clubhouse?
No.
Do you want an invite?
I did one Clubhouse. It just sounds like a podcast room.
24/7.
Yeah.
It is. It's like I like feel this new pressure that I should be on there, kind of. Making connections, like and it's like I'm laying there going like, I can't do it right now.
What do you talk? Well, that's the thing.
I just listen.
Yeah, I could listen.
Yeah.
What other topics that other people are talking and just.
I go to the NFT room and learn about NFTs.
Okay.
Basically,
there's got to be a comedian one where comics just hang out and
talk
shop.
Yeah.
Do you go on? A lot of comics are doing twitching, playing like video games. Do you and Joe partake?
I don't play video games, but I did look into Twitch for the film festival thing that I do.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to really
prominent
work
platform.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just like when I was reading about that. What's his name? Myers Leonard.
The Jew hating.
The Jew hating basketball player. It's from Twitch, and I'm sure people that work on Miami Heat are like, okay, what is Twitch now? There's so much
There's
stuff.
so many. Yeah, we should do so much that we don't do.
It's hard.
And that's the thing. It's like there's so many lanes, and it's like there's so many ways for you to like shame yourself for not doing enough nowadays.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I should be doing this.
Listen,
I should
you do music. We film this. I edit it. I do the whole thing, set it up. I also have my other shooting that I do.
Oh, you're amazing.
And there's
by the way, I love you.
There's so much. There's not enough time to do it all. I can't.
So we do what we can.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot here
and
tonight.
Please support us on Patreon.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe on YouTube.
And
right?
give all your shout outs. Give all your things.
Follow me subscribe to me to YouTube and then Instagram at Tollemache and then TikTok at Tollemache.
And what's the YouTube handle?
It's just Sarah Tollemache.
Yeah, you gotta promote it though.
Yeah.
Tollemache.
Spell it for him.
SARAHTOLLEMACHE.
You passed it.
Not-
I would have. I think.
Not Tollemache.
I think you should have got at least a 1200 on your SAT.
I know, for
Yeah.
the name alone.
For the name alone.
Right on.
We'll give you an honorary 12
All right, Sarah.
from us.
Well, guys, this
Thank
has been
you.
enlightening.
Let me
Thank
plug
you.
one other thing. Sarah will be at City Winery on April 5th for the first return of Monday
great.
Night Comedy.
Hey, I got a gig
I
in
know.
April.
Oh, right. Plug it. April. I have it in my calendar.
I don't know which one it is.
I have it. Joe will be at the newly opened City Winery on April 8th, which is a Thursday.
So write something on the dressing room.
I will.
Say hi, Joe.
Like a
You should
QAnon
come,
message.
'cause-
for
Yeah,
you.
QAnon. Oh, really? You
An
got me.
cryptic
You got me
message.
pegged for QAnon. No.
No, I was watching the Britney Spears doc, and then I watched
I
a
did
little
too.
bit.
It was fascinating.
But it's very QAnon. Everyone's like trying to decipher messages with Instagram posts. And then
Ugh.
I watched the Stanley Kubrick documentary before I came here, and it was the same thing happening. Like, he put this upside down, and it means this, and he's
he
about a
did the
pedophile
moon.
ring, and
Oh man.
it's too much.
But did you know
It is
about
too
her
much.
situation? It's insane.
Hers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Forget
here's
the
the
QAnon. What actually happened to her is insane.
well,
You have to watch this
conservatorships
thing.
are crazy.
I never saw it.
It's a weird topic, but we can.
Here's what I'm mad about,
just-
though. Just real quick. I know we're wrapping this up, but like the fuck.
I just
excuse my
ignited
French.
it. Sorry.
Well, no, the Harry and Meghan thing.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
everyone's talking about it. So I go on YouTube. Oh, let me check out this interview.
Me too. I couldn't find it.
It's not there. And then
Only
it's like it's
snippets.
just like the sort of like people talking about the interview. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then and I talked to Keith today, my manager, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's because it's on CBS. This that." I know. I'm like, "Where's the guy that filmed his TV though and posted
Yeah,
that? Like,
where's
why
that
isn't
hero?
that up?
Where's
Like,
the bootleg version?
like, where's the bootleg interview? I
On
want
the
to
subway,
see.
they're selling it.
Somebody tape that interview and put it on YouTube.
I'll get you a
1,000
download from
thank yous.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that?
No, I did. I wanted to, but I don't know. I don't really feel like
It's too much
that
of a commitment. Too much work.
big of a problem.
Have you ever heard of Ho'oponopono?
No, it's not.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
No.
It's a Hawaiian mantra.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you with that because
Thank you.
it's it helps you sort of just like forgive if you're in a tense situation with somebody and you apply that mantra. Really helps.
It does.
Yeah. I
It
love
allows you
you.
to
I'm-
empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wakens that up. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but
I don't know. Yeah.
I just
Thank
did.
you.
If we push another 4 minutes, we'll hit 2 hours. But no,
We got this.
we got this. It's all good.
All right.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Sarah.
This was fun.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Okay, good.
Nice. Tell your husband because we want to have him on.
Yeah, definitely. I'll let him know.
Joe List will also be at the winery April 5th, as well as Mark Norman, Cypher Sounds, and Will Sylvan.
Shout out Cypher. Shout out Will.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.